solely a sample of hardcore alcoholics, those people that had an average of 3 previous offenses, in some cases felonies, before they reached the Superior Court. But I know that Mr. MacDougald here has been an innovator in the community in treating drug users with a drug called tryptophan. Maybe he might want to speak on the effects of tryptophan.
Not a drug. I couldn't treat anybody with a drug. That's an amino acid that you can get at the health food store, and it's tyrosine. We had a bad time with cocaine addicts. The failure rate was extremely high. Dr. Gold, supposed to be the nation's expert, said you could let them out right away and treat them. All of them went back, 100% failure rate. So we began to leave them in jail longer and longer. Finally, a 6 weeks period, plus the amino acids, plus 2 urinalyses a week, gave us a success rate that has given us a crime reduction in the first quarter.
That's the secret to it, is that 2 tests a week. For years, we went with only 1 test every 3 weeks. And the military said, well, wait a minute, that's not enough. So they did it twice a week. So we started doing it twice a week, and we got tremendous results.
But is that kind of testing just keeping them clean long enough to get out of the program, or does it have any lasting results, any ethical modification?
Well, if they learn ethical education and put it into practice, there will be a total change. But some do and some don't.
It's an opportunity to learn. They can't learn anything while they're doing drugs. You can't teach a drunk anything. You got to wait for them to sober up. And
I can motivate them too by, when they flunk the test, go to jail. That's a big motivator to stay out.
Okay. Of course, the big problem here is that funds are dwindling for this program.
Well, they're gone until July.
So what is the next step? Are there other funding entities available to you other than the city and county?
None that we have been able to find. We had hoped that the private sector would become interested and provide some funds, but that has not happened. And as a member of the judicial branch, I'm unable to solicit and can't solicit. But if the private sector is interested in looking into the problem of crime prevention, all they've got to do is call Dan MacDougald, a crime prevention coordinator, or anyone at the criminal justice side at Albany State, who can tell them those programs that are in place and are now funded by the city and the county. And they are effective, and there's no doubt about it in my mind, and I know that the youth and the indigents of this community are going to suffer if we don't have it.
With the city and county making their decisions to fund at the level they have and not more despite your request, what kind of message does that send to you as far as the municipal entity's commitment to your programs?
Well, of course, I can't quarrel with the county or the city because over the years they have been most cooperative and have tried to find those funds that I thought were necessary, and I think make honest efforts to find those funds. And I think most of the commissioners recognize the value of the programs and would fund it if the money was readily available. But as you well know, all government has a hard time finding enough money to go around for all the many programs that we now have and people demand.
More on the ethical education program when we return.
Sunday, witness an all-new spectacular loaded with high-flying adventure.
Incredible.
Packed with two-fisted action. And pulsing with heart-throbbing romance.
Would you consider my proposal?
Pierce Brosnan is circling the globe in search of hair-raising thrills. Along the way, he'll meet a parade of stars including Eric Idle, Lee Remick, John Hillerman, Peter Ustinov, Jill St. John, and Robert Wagner.
I'm certain we shall have a most enjoyable journey together.
We've got your ride waiting to go around the world in 80 days. Have crime shows taken TV hostage? Entertainment This Week learns how Hollywood's making crime pay with reality shows that feed our growing appetite for vice.
It's safe arousal.
People always used to go to watch public hangings, and you could offer people actual executions, and they would watch.
Plus, can perfect strangers Bronson Pinchot catch a kidnapper using only his mind? Find out as we get the scoop on his new big screen caper on the next Entertainment This Week.
Sunday night following Barnaby Jones on WALB.
We are back discussing Dougherty County's ethical education program and the problem it faces right now with funding. Judge Kelley, both the state has committed $40 million to prison spending, both overcrowding and the early release program in the coming fiscal year. And Dougherty County is obviously committed funding as they are constructing a temporary jail right now. Do you feel that some of those funds would be better spent towards ethical education rather on housing facilities for offenders?
First of all, let me say there's no need, we absolutely need additional space in the jail. I don't see how the sheriff has been able to do the job he's done so well with 360 or 70 people in a building that's designed for 202. It gives him an almost impossible task. And I certainly have no quarrel with the additional building by the state, because additional prisons are justified in view of the substantial increase in crime rates. But as I have pointed out time and time again to governors and to members of the Pardon and Parole Board and to members of the General Assembly, if they would spend less than the cost of a prison or a detention center on these programs that make up our crime prevention system, namely ethical education and drug testing and abuse and psychological evaluation and diagnostics, you could reduce the prison population by 50% in less than a year. There's no doubt about it in my mind that it could be done and would be done in a very orderly manner and would hold for many years to come.
Let me address this question to both Mr. MacDougald and Dr. Anson. Does incarceration break down what ethical education hopes to build?
Not really. Ethical education will stick through a period of incarceration. He'll be a better prisoner and come out better if he has it. We teach them on the way to prison. Not that we expect them to come out, but we expect them to be a better prisoner when they get there, and there are many ways to learn and grow in prison, literacy training and schooling and whatnot, and they'll come back better than when they went. So incarceration doesn't hurt, as it's said to hurt, provided you have a good set of ethics when you go in.
Okay. We have pointed out that there is a lack of funding for this program, and certainly the three of you are very much behind the program, and the statistics do bear out its success. What now? What are you going to do if there's no funding?
Well, if there's no funding, I'll just have